And we're back to our regularly scheduled BBOL Little League season. Been doing a lot of side stuff recently. There was the All-Star game that I just uploaded, and Harlem Globetrotter, a user on the BBOL Discord, is running his own tournament. Been uploading a little bit of that. There's also a new bracket coming up run by Germ Brett, who is an HL player, called March Madness, which will be starting, as you might expect, next month in March. I'll be participating in that as well, and I'll be uploading the games here, though it is single elimination, so it might be only one game that I uploaded. We'll see. As for this video, it is my Week 6 matchup against Kayden, who is a replacement coach. He graciously filled in for Nata Storm, who himself was a substitution for like somebody who did the draft and then dipped out. That kind of stuff happens, you know, when you're into online gaming. People flake, people dip, you know. So I appreciate players like Kayden who will step up and keep things running. Since he took over, he has gone 0-2. He's looking for a win. On the other hand, I am undefeated and am not looking for a loss. So we'll see whether he can score the upset here. I've played a lot of home games so far this season. I think I probably have more away games in the second half as we have reached the mid-season point. And, you know, I've played so many games at, BCS, Big City Stadium. Going to be playing more games at fields like Ekman Acres, away from home. So here we go.
Hey, good play there.
Right off the bat, we get an emote. I don't think there's too much of that this game from what I remember. As usual, I'm commentating after the fact. Mandy Coolidge is his pitcher. She's got pretty good stamina, and all 4 of her pitches are pretty strong. Her heat is 100 out of 100, though, so she's going to be pinpoint with that. Going to be looking out for it. Nice catch from whoever he's got there in center field. I'm guessing Rosanna Phelps. Now Claudia is up. And that should be an easy out. Yep. He's got a pretty stacked infield. You see Derek Jeter there at shortstop, Sean Green at second, and Sally Dobbs, a 4-height player, at first base. Oh, I should have absolutely swung at that. That could have been gone. I do have my power hitter up to bat. But, okay that I did not nail that first pitch because I nailed the second. Going up 1-0 in the top of the first inning. Feels good. Ekman Acres is a very defensive field. Perhaps the most defensive in the game. You know, I guess maybe Sandy Flats could give it a run for its money there. But there are no random bounces. I think there's a -1 speed modifier for base runners. And the fences are pretty far back. But when you have a 100 power hitter like Cheryl, that's no problem. Gonna stay on power here with Alicia. She does not perform nearly as well.
You kids are doing really good.
Pretty happy with the inning though. I was just talking about Derek and Sally, and it looks like they're going to be leading off for the Dodgers in the bottom of the first. The only real home run power, of course, you know, Jeter is capable of hitting home runs, but the only real home run power on Kayden's team is Sally and Mandy. I think they're his second and third batters. And I'm noticing that his batting order is exactly the same as his draft order. So he may not be aware that he can change his batting order. Or perhaps he just doesn't want to. But in case he listens to this, or you know, a friend of his listens to this and is able to get that message back to him. You can change your batting order. You know, that's not prohibited in the rules or anything. So Sally Dobbs, one of the most interesting batters in the game. I mean, she might be a candidate for the most interesting batter in the game. First of all, she has that big strike zone as a 4 height. She also has massive power in her bat, but a 1 out of 100 contact rating. So she's fouling off a lot of balls. And it does not help when you chase pitches that are outside the zone, as she just did for out number 2. Big hit there from Mandy. Already makes the grab, though. Glad to see that after he had a couple flubs in the All-Star game, which was uploaded on the channel a couple days ago. Here is Gwen Sears. So this is for Alicia, who batted at the tail end of my first inning, and for Gwen here, leading off in the top of the second. This is only their second game on the Pirates. So I'm looking at, you know, they both performed pretty well in their first game, which was week 5. Looking to see whether they can keep that up. Oh, it's a backyard baseball is an interesting game because it's probably one of the only baseball games ever created where you can, you know, hit a line drive into the outfield and still be thrown out at first. Of course, that play there, it was completely my own fault for not sprinting with Gwen, or not sprinting enough. She has enough stamina that I could have, you know, I could have spent some of it sprinting there. It's a mistake on my part. But I still, you know, am in the habit sometimes of thinking, well, they're going to get on base easily, you know, because they hit it to the outfield. Not the case. It looks like Arlene Perez that he's got in left field. She does not have the strongest arm. So we're going to look to take advantage of that in the future. Nice grab from Derek, as you would expect. Artie's gone, and Fernando, the least reliable hitter on my team, with a batting average of under 100 this season, is going to try to somehow get Artie home. But personally, I've already started to succumb to doomerism. Whenever he comes up to bat, I'm like, well, inning's over. And there it is. The inning was indeed over. You can see only 7 pitches that Fernando has racked up. Here's his 8th. And we're already into the second inning. His juice is nearly completely full. Kayden does seem to be swinging at pretty much everything. So I'm going to keep throwing stuff that's outside the zone and see if he continues to bite. There we go. For newer players, one trick, or I guess one training method that you can employ is play a game where you never swing at the first pitch and where you predict whether it's going to be a ball or a strike. Just don't swing at the first pitch under any circumstances on any at-bat. There you go. A little bit of adaptation from Kayden there. And when you do that, you will, you'll notice yourself getting calls right or wrong. I think I let her get on base here. Yep, that's definitely a comedic single, if ever there was one. You will notice yourself if you use that training method, getting some right and some wrong, so you can get a feel for what kind of pitches you need to kind of adjust mentally for. can be helpful. I think I turn the double play here. I do. And Donald Vogel crucially gets out of the way, the shortstop, so that Wally at second can turn that double play. So thank you to the AI, I guess, for making that possible. Instead of, you know, creating a collision. Pretty big hit from Chucky here.
Keep up the good work.
And in fact, he makes it to first base. That was a little bit more of a bloop hit, so there was more time for him to score. You know, thinking about it, it must be Molly May that he has in right field. Yes, and Rosanna Phelps in center, because Molly's
Good play.
arm is quite competitive, is quite strong out there.
They're doing really good.
I think I just, yeah, I don't continue to turn Chucky round and round because he's my backup pitcher. He's my reliever, so I don't want to drain his stamina too much. Nice. Good stuff from Kayden so far on the defensive end. Apart from that, you know, pitching kind of recklessly to Cheryl, you know, if he's dealing with line drives or grounders, he's making quick work of me. So I'm going to try to respond in kind. And another pitch that he lets go, so he is figuring out. And I'm noticing it's pitches in that lower outside corner that he is catching on to. Still going to alternate between right and left though, and that was just a terrible swing, if I'm being honest. Jody Palmer, yeah, looking at her stats, I'm going to pitch. I will just pitch something easy to her. As she's got no real bat to speak of, and neither does Rosanna Phelps. I'm just going to try to feed him something a little easy. Let him get a little hit, and throw him out at first. Don't want to use too much stamina. Fernando will grab that. And he's got a strong enough arm that he makes that play. Cheryl back up to bat now. As of this recording, she is leading the league in home runs. Of course, this is not a homer. This is going to be an easy... Ooh! Oh, I thought Derek was going to pick that back up and throw me out because he's got a cannon for an arm. But Cheryl actually makes it on base. She may be competing for like highest batting average as well. Ooh, that ought to be a catch. Overdid it a little bit there in left field. So this is where I get the idea, seeing that he's having a bit of difficulty, you know, positioning his fielders underneath higher balls. That's where I get the idea that power is going to be the way to go in this game. Gwen doesn't quite have enough power that...
Way to go.
Okay, I definitely would have thrown to second there if I were him.
Yes.
Unfortunate that his catcher spiked it there. I don't remember if I like cut off my train of thought or what I was saying earlier. But with a little bit of like running base path trickery, I do end up with runners on second and third. Let's see whether Artie can hit somebody home.
Yes.
Oh,
I can't believe
just a rough misplay there from Derek, throwing home instead of getting the double play at third, as I had told Cheryl to steal. I'm sure he's regretting that. Well, I mean, I'm recording this after the fact, so probably not. He's probably not thinking about that anymore. Big hit from Donald. Let's see whether... oh, nope.
Help me. Nice hustle.
He does not make it under the ball. She does have a powerful arm, though, so I'm not going to be able to get Donald home.
Keep up the good work. I can't believe it. Way to go! Make us proud.
Might have been able to run home there in all that chaos. All right, Fernando's up. Inning's over. It's over. Gonna give him a little bit of a break, I guess, at catcher. At least I will once we get to the bottom of the fourth, but first Fernando has to get out. Best odds of him getting on base, honestly, is a walk. He has a very low contact rating. Of course, not as low as Sally Dobbs.
You were mighty nice.
But it is quite low, so he fouls off a lot of balls. Yep.
Oh, yeah!
Sean Green doing a great job at second so far this game. There's Chucky on the mound, as we just discussed. So he's got only 2 pitches. You know, Fernando also has only 2 pitches, but Chucky's are a heat and a left hook, as opposed to a pair of hooks. And we are up against the top of his order, so I'm going to have to pitch carefully. It does seem to be the pitches that are outside and low. He sometimes lays off. Shouldn't have laid off that one. Sometimes I talk about like needing to have better discipline and a better eye, and then just as I say that, somebody will take strike 3, and I'll be like, well, forget what I just said. You need to swing. And there's a pitch you shouldn't have swung at. It really just goes back and forth, I guess. Kind of risky pitching a heater to Sally Dobbs with her big bat, but she does seem to be easy to fool. She has struck out twice so far this game. And if I do my job right, she will not have an opportunity to come back up. But we'll see. Well fielded from Donald. You know, he's not a pro clone or a 3 height or anything, but he does pretty well at shortstop. He's got the arm strength. He does have one weakness. I don't remember what it is off the top of my head. It's either his eye or his coordination. But he does pretty well at short. So I'm just gonna this next inning is not safe. This inning right here, I'm just gonna warn you, is not safe for work.
You kids are doing
I get thrown out
good.
here, and that is okay. Don't want to sprint with Chucky, as he's my pitcher. Don't want to drain his juice. But beginning with this at bat, this inning is not safe for work. So if you're squeamish, if you're not into carnage, then you're going to want to turn your eyes away. Ordinarily, I bat line drive with Wally. I decided to switch to power after seeing that Kayden had a little bit of trouble positioning his outfielders correctly. Thinking, well, Wally will just hit it to the outfield and perhaps the ball will bounce. It'll fall. But instead he hits it out of the zone. Not something I would expect at Ekman, necessarily. But he's got 80 power, so it's possible. Claudia Villarta with 78 power. But I'm gonna keep her on the highest launch velocity. See what she can do. You may already be guessing what she's about to do based on how I prefaced this inning. There it is. So I gotta tell you, one of the reasons I learned to pitch so carefully, you know, to the corners and throwing stuff outside the zone and everything, was because when I first learned of this league and played some practice games and stuff, one of them was against CRK, the reigning Humongous League champion, and he was hitting home runs on me back to back. He never like blew me out completely, but when it got to the part of his lineup where he had his power hitters stacked up, he did hit some back-to-back homers against me, and I was like, well, this cannot stand. So I was like, what can I do differently? He told me about, you know, the importance of pitch location and how exactly it works in online mode. So anybody who's listening to this who hasn't yet started to, you know, carefully locate their pitches and alternate between pitch types and all that, you really, if you don't want, man, this is a lot of foul balls from Cheryl. If you don't want people to go yard on you consistently, you've got to implement those tactics. 5 straight foul balls from Cheryl. She is really fighting. And now she's going home. This is, yeah, aw shucks is right. This is back-to-back-to-back home runs. I'm not sure I've ever accomplished that in this game.
Nice play, feller.
Yeah, but I mean, Cheryl, this is the game where she went ahead in the, you know, in the race, the home run race. She has 7 on the season now. Oh my, look, that's gonna clear Kimmy's house. Absolutely crushed. Yeah, I was talking earlier about Alicia and Gwen needing to prove their worth since this is only their second game with the team. I would say Alicia proved it right there. Now Gwen's going to have an opportunity to do the same. So Gwen, only a 69 power hitter with very low contact. But I keep it on power here, thinking I just want to pop up. You know, and I don't expect at all that she will launch it out of play. But maybe, as I spoke about earlier, I'll be able to, you know, he might misposition a fielder and I can perhaps get a double out of it. So we keep it on power. And we actually do end up hitting the back-to-back-to-back-to-back-to-back home runs. I'm honestly wondering if this is a Backyard Baseball online record. I mean, if you think back all the way to when the original online mode for, you know, the PC game in 2001, or 2000, whenever it came out. If you think all the way that far back, surely someone has hit like 6 home runs in a row. But as far as the modern BBOL goes, I may have just set the record there. I keep it on power with Artie as well. He has even less power in his bat than Gwen, but I'd love to extend the record even farther. And that's a perfect pitch to do it on.
You kids are doing really good.
We do only get a single out of that, but, you know, I really cannot complain about anything at this point in the game after that crazy string. That's going to be a double play, or it should be.
Oh, yeah.
Nope. Sean probably should have just stepped on second there and then thrown to Sally. Even if he hadn't been in time and Donald had made it to first, he would still be in a better spot now. Is Fernando going to get a hit? Nope. What an inning. That was, I'm going to be honest, that was brutal. If I experienced something like that, I would be... I'd probably be fuming. Kayden, you know, a good sport. Obviously a good sport if he's the sort of... Whoa. What am I doing throwing that pitch? Kayden, obviously a good sport. If he's the sort of person who would fill in the middle of a... Whoa. Oh, buddy. Nicely done. Not the greatest hit from Cheryl, though. And the throw is late from Claudia. Yeah, let me finish my train of thought. Kayden, obviously a good sport if he's the sort of person who fills in mid-season for, you know, an absent coach. And, you know, he didn't quit out of the game or anything. He didn't send me any salty messages. Just a couple emotes and, you know, understandably so. That was a crazy inning. But we are on to the bottom of the fifth now. In fact, we're in the thick of it with Sean having doubled. And Molly's a threat, so we're just going to get her out of there with the fireball. Ramona Bennett should be up next. A solid batter with good stamina and decent speed. So I'm going to pitch carefully to her. That'll be tough because half my juice is gone. And that was a swing of frustration for sure. I gotta be honest. Getting the more juice there was the odds were actually favorable to get that more juice because there are like 10 possible power-ups and a more juice, I think, and I already had 4, and it's you're 3 times as likely to get a juice as you are to get any individual power-up. So the odds were like 50-50-ish that I would get the juice there, a little less maybe. Still pretty fortunate that I got it because that clinches the game like completely. I won't have to use power-ups from this point on. Of course, I more than likely will not get an opportunity to bat, as this is the top of... Oh, I'm sorry. I'm batting right now. More home runs? Maybe? Wally? What do you think? No. But he can probably get to second? Yeah. Stand-up double. Yeah, and we're sticking with power. Not expecting to hit it out, but just taking advantage of the weakness in Kayden's game. I would suggest that... Nice pitch. I do sometimes struggle to identify whether pitches are in the zone or not when they're low and in the middle like that. That should be a strike. Maybe not. He does flub this, unfortunately.
No way, man.
If you want... Oh, no.
That's okay.
I think I'd get home here. Yep.
Nice play. Woo-hoo. Nice play.
Just a bit more base path trickery. Lost my train of thought again. That's okay. Cheryl 3 for 3. I'm going to be honest, I'm looking for my 3rd home run here. Looks like I may get a walk instead. Nice catch.
Keep up the good work.
And that is Rosanna Phelps that he's got in center field. Her eye is not that good. So I would maybe suggest to Kayden that he put some of his players with better eyes in the outfield and just use the click a base method. If there's a pop up, oh, you absolutely hate to see a power hitter hit a little dinky grounder like that. Would have been fine on Tin Can Alley or Cement Gardens though. If you click a base, if there's a pop-up to the outfield, or just a pop-up in general, if you click a base, your fielder will automatically position themselves underneath it based on the strength of their eye. So Kayden might consider putting maybe Derek Jeter and Arlene Perez and Jody Palmer in the outfield, as they have the 3 strongest eyes on his team, looking at his lineup on my other monitor. Make fielding a little bit easier for him. Excuse me. Fernando racking up the Ks. Assuming that I am able to get this shutout, which is not a guarantee, as he has reached the top of his batting order again. Fernando will not get the complete game shutout because Chucky did a little bit of pitching. But that's, fine by me. So, you see me throw the big freeze here. Honestly, I recommend never throwing this pitch because you can identify a big freeze based on the movement of the ball's laces. The ball shrinks and the laces turn differently than they do on any other pitch. So an experienced coach can just wait out the freeze part and then swing at it and get a free hit. And if they get on base, that's a batting power up. So anyone listening to this, to the sound of my voice, do not throw a big freeze, especially not in critical situations. Or do whatever you want. I don't know. I'm not your dad. All right, that's the game. Looks like the video is about to run out of time. See you next time. Bye.